Hey guys, we're going to continue working on our walk cycle today. So first, as you can see, we've got things blocked out generally, but now we're going to start working on the rotation of the hips and the spine to work with our footsteps. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the hips, this control right here. So let's talk about the contact poses. Here on the contact pose, we want to make sure that the hips are rotated in Y towards the foot that's being planted. So I'm going to rotate it like that. Okay, so value of, let's just say 18. So we'll copy that value to our match frame, which is here at frame 21. We'll make this 18 as well. So our at frame 11, where we've got our mirroring contact pose, we'll want this to be minus 18. So we can go ahead and delete these keys because at the passing pose, it's going to be about neutral, right? So it's going to be around 0. We could delete those as well and see what the value actually is on our passing phrase. And it does seem to be 0. So that's what our Y rotation of our hips is going to look like. So the chest is going to be rotating for the extremes of the arms, right? So we'll add in the Y rotation for the chest. Go up here. Something seems off here. Okay, what happened to this? This should actually be the opposite. This should be minus 18. And this one should be 18. Right, because you want it rotating towards the foot that's going down. So with the chest, we're rotating towards the arm that's going forward. So you'll see there's a twist going up the body. So at frame 1, I said it's around 12. This one's minus 12. Match frame and the beginning frame will be the same. And then we can delete the other keys in between. So we'll have this twisting motion going on with the body. Let's make this a little bit more extreme though. Let's make this 20. All right, so that gives us our twist up the body. Now let's start talking about the weight shifting from one side to the other. So I'm going to go ahead and choose our root control. And here we're going to be talking about the X translation from side to side. So when we're in our passing position, we want the weight to have shifted over onto this foot and vice versa. So I think we already have this side motion in pretty well. Okay. So next we want to work on getting the rotation of the pelvis. Okay, so again we're going to go back to our hip control right here, and now we're going to be talking about the rotation in Z. So we're talking about the Z rotation. So on the low extreme, right, so this is our low extreme here at frame 3, this is going to shift up. As the weight is taken by this left foot. Okay, so we'll go to the next one at 13, and if this value is -6, we're going to want this one to be 7. Let's just round it off to 7. But this shifts over pretty fast. Because here the weight is still on this other foot. So if we're backing up, the weight is definitely so here we'll make it -5. And we'll change our tangents here to spline so that this makes a sort of sawtooth shape as the weight from the pelvis goes from one foot to the other. So as the pelvis tilts, the shoulders are going to counter tilt, or to counterbalance. Right, so as the foot comes through and the weight is being taken here. Actually, I think we can let's make it a little bit more dramatic. -1.5. So if it's 1.5 here, this should be -1.5. It's kind of fast. So let's copy this curve onto the chest. See rotation. With the Z rotation here. And we'll select chest, Z rotation. So now it's rotating the same way, but we want to actually reverse this. So I'm going to select the entire curve, and I'm going to come up here to the value window, and I'm going to type in times equals -1. Oops, times equals -1. And that reverses the curve. So now as the hips are reversing, the chest is rotating the opposite way. But now I want to also go to the head, and the Y rotation here paste the curve on. Oh, we're going to have to reverse this one. Let's go. Times equals -1. Equals. There we go. It's too extreme though. So I'm going to hit R for scale, and I'm going to put my cursor right around 0. Hit Shift, middle mouse button, and make it a little bit less. Let's see how that plays in. So I'm going to save this. Okay, so now let's talk about the rotation from the side. So we're going back to the hips now, and now we're going to be talking about the X rotation on the hips. Okay, so when our character is in the low extreme, which is like frame 3, right? This is our low extreme. This is where your hips are going to tilt forward. And when we get to our high extreme, here at frame 9, the hips will tilt So here again, this is, so we'll want it to be -9 here as well. And by the time we get to our high extreme, we're going to want it to be, let's just make it 7. And this value here at is -1. So here we want this to be 1, and at frame 21 we want it to be 1. And we'll want to make these 1 so that they're making nice smooth transitions. So now we want to use this to set up our overlap on our head and our chest, right? So I'm going to copy this entire curve on the X rotation, Command C, and then I'm going to go to the Z rotation on the middle spine, and I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to select the entire curve, and I'm going to push it forward 1. Then I'm going to go to the chest, go to the X rotation, I'm going to paste it and push this forward 2 frames. Entire curve. Oh wait, that does not look right. This curve. Command C, and then I'll go to the chest, to the X rotation. And we'll paste it. Sorry. Let's try that one more time. X rotation. Command C to copy. Go here to the X rotation. Oh, I already did it. But now I'm going to push it forward another frame. Let's do the same thing with this. Only this rotation is going to be Z now, because they taking the X rotation from here. Command C to the Z rotation here. Let's try one more time. X rotation. Copy. Oh, it did kind of wide. Okay. It's weird. There should be nothing on this. This whole thing should be 0. So this, we're going to want to push one frame into the future. Okay, now we're going to take, well, let's take the Z rotation from here. Go with the Z rotation here. Actually, I feel like these both should be the opposite. Yeah, there we go. That looks better. Basically, when he's like, this is kind of like the squash, and then when he gets up here, it stretches. I want to increase the X rotation on here. I feel like it should be even more extreme. So let's just scale this entire one. I'm going to hit R for scale. I'm going to frame it. I'm going to go around 0 hit Shift, middle mouse button, and make it even more extreme. There we go. Got a nice overlap going on. Up through the spine. Got a nice loose spine going on. So now we want to talk about the overlap of the arms. We can do the same thing with the arm swing that we had going on with the spine. So we've got the arms rotating in X, Y, and Z. We remember the elbow only rotates in Y. So if we take Q, so I can multi-select. If we take the Y rotation, basically what we want to do is drag the elbow, right, as it's swinging forward. So right now we have it here. Here we would want to rotate it back a little bit farther. Oops. Just looking for why. Can rotate it back a little. Leave it there, and then when it comes forward here, let's make it go a little bit further. Now we're starting to reverse it. So I'm going to copy this curve, Command C. I'm going to go to the other Y rotation. I'm going to go to frame 11. I'm going to Command V. Okay, so now it's starting to look really loose. So we can do the same thing with the wrist now. So let's copy the Y rotation from here. Add to the Y rotation here. Oops. Let's make it a little bit less extreme. So I'm going to hit R for scale, shift, go to the middle mouse button. Just a little bit. So now I'm going to copy this entire curve. Here, I feel like the top part of it, let's do it again. If this is low point, and I hit R, that way it drags more. Ooh, I like it. Alright, so I'm gonna select this whole Y rotation. I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to hit Y rotation. I'm going to move this out and hit E. Oops. And then I'm going to select the entire curve and slide it back to frame 1. This is the other side. And now let's see what we get. I'm going to make this shorter too. I'm going to make it only 80 frames. And there we've got like some nice swing and follow through on the arms. So that's pretty much how far you guys want to get this next week.